Imagine it's midnight, the power grid fails, the hum of your refrigerator just stops. Suddenly, your surroundings completely vanish into black. This modern annoyance is actually a fascinating portal right into our past. Today, we're diving into an explainer of a human mystery that most of us completely take for granted. We're going to explore a time when the setting sun literally changed everything.
Picture this for a second. It's 9 p.m., your phone battery just died, the streetlights outside your window completely dead. There is absolutely nothing out there but complete, suffocating darkness. Would you even know what time it was? Without a glowing clock, a screen, or ambient city light filtering in, your perception of reality instantly starts to shift.
We are talking about a darkness so impossibly deep that you can barely even see your own hand in front of your face. But here's the really fascinating twist. For most of human history, this complete lack of light wasn't some sudden disaster. It wasn't an emergency at all. It was simply an ordinary night. It was entirely normal. So, how did people actually live in this? Think about it. Today, the night hardly dictates our lives. We work late, we binge-watch television, we scroll through our phones in bed. Our cities, they stay wide awake. But historically, the exact moment the sun disappeared, life just slowed down. Sunset was a hard, non-negotiable stop. Society went from completely active to dormant in a matter of minutes. Now, consider the stark economic reality of light before electricity. Most people couldn't just flip a switch and light up a room. A single candle or a basic oil lamp represented hours of incredibly hard physical labor. So entire families were forced to huddle closely around one tiny flickering flame, just to see each other. Light wasn't a given. It was a precious, highly expensive resource. Because of this scarcity, the physical and psychological reality of our ancestors shrank every single evening. The world suddenly felt so much smaller. Reading was a huge strain on the eyes. Working was next to impossible. Even just walking across your own home became this slow, incredibly deliberate task. Your entire universe literally contracted to a circle of faint light barely a few feet wide. And outside the safety of the home, true darkness meant something else entirely. It was a genuine hazard. Imagine trying to walk through your town tonight with absolutely zero street lamps and no headlights. Roads became incredibly treacherous. People easily wandered off paths and got completely lost. And of course, criminals thrived under absolute cover. Traveling after sunset wasn't just an inconvenience. It was a serious physical risk. But you see, the danger was also deeply psychological. Without our modern scientific understanding of the world, the darkness lived wildly inside people's imaginations. Every single shadow became a terrifying question. Every snapping twig or distant howl became a mystery. This is exactly how ghost stories and folklore spread so effectively from village to village. The human mind absolutely hates a vacuum, so it fills absolute darkness with monsters. So you might be thinking, well, the only thing left to do in the dark was sleep, right? But did humans actually sleep differently back then? This is where the history of darkness gets truly strange. The lack of electricity didn't just change how people worked or traveled, it fundamentally altered human biology. Before artificial light normalized that continuous 8-hour block of sleep we all know today, humans actually slept in two distinct phases. It was a historical phenomenon called biphasic sleep. People would go to bed shortly after sunset for their first sleep. Then, right around midnight, they would naturally wake up. They'd stay awake for an hour or two, and then return to bed for a second sleep that lasted until morning. So what on earth did they do during that mysterious midnight waking hour? Surprisingly, it was a remarkably peaceful period. People prayed quietly in the dark. They talked softly with their family members. They just lay there and reflected on the day. Or, if they were wealthy enough to afford it, they read by candlelight. It was this deeply ingrained natural pause right in the middle of the night. And this brings us to a really stark comparison. Modern nights are so often spent staring into individual glowing screens. We tend to isolate ourselves with technology. But historical nights organically forced families to huddle together around a fire. Without television or social media, entertainment was entirely organic. Families shared stories. News traveled purely by word of mouth. Instead of staring at screens, they spent their nights staring at each other. But, as we know, human beings are inherently problem solvers. Eventually, humanity decided to push back against the dark. We entered this rapid, relentless era of invention. We simply decided we no longer wanted to be prisoners of the sunset. It happened in a rapid succession of brilliant technology. We moved from slightly improved oil lamps straight into mass-produced candles. Then came gaslighting, which finally illuminated our city streets. And then, the ultimate game changer, the widespread adoption of electricity. Step by step, we systematically dismantled the night. And the result of that relentless technological march? The boundary between day and night practically disappeared. This single monumental leap birthed modern light life as we know it. Factories could keep assembly lines moving 24 hours a day, businesses kept their doors wide open, cities remained completely buzzing with activity, noise, and brilliant light long after the sun went down. This represents a profound, almost unimaginable shift in our daily existence. Humans no longer adapted to the darkness. Darkness adapted to us. Think about it. What would have been considered an impossible, literal magic trick to a medieval peasant, summoning a miniature sun inside your living room with just the flick of a finger, became a completely ordinary, thoughtless part of our daily life. So, the next time you find yourself awake at midnight staring at your glowing smartphone screen, just pause for a second. Look at what you are actually holding. You are holding humanity's ultimate triumph over the night. You hold something that altered our biology, our society, and our most ancient fears. For thousands of years, darkness controlled human life. Today, we control the darkness.